Greetings and welcome friends, I'm Ash and I'm here to share with you 8 tips and tricks that I wish I knew before starting Lost Skies. And without further ado, let us begin. At the time of writing, the items in Lost Skies take up a fair bit of space, yet storage for them is extremely limited and very clunky. So unless you want to painstakingly sort everything into dozens upon dozens of low-capacity chests, my advice would be to not hoard random knickknacks like some sort of dragon. If you have dozens of something and you don't see yourself using it anytime soon, just chuck a portion of it off your ship. If you have a bit of extra lumber after upgrading your ship, it's huge and it literally grows on trees, so again, toss it all away. If you have any leftover ore after smelting, you betcha, it goes right down the toilet. These items are huge, and there is no guarantee you'll find the exact same ore anytime soon, so it's best not to have it clog up your chest for the next 24 hours. Stick to this sort of mindset and you'll find the crafting system a lot more pleasant, as you won't have to slowly rummage through scores upon scores of random chests looking for that one specific grey item in a sea of other miscellaneous grey items. Once you get the energy saw, its main purpose will be to chop down trees in order to build and upgrade your ship. However, that's not all it can do, as I, unfortunately, took way too long to figure out. You see, the game tells you that you need to use something called the cutting tool to butcher animals in order to get special ingredients out of them. But what the game doesn't tell you is that the cutting tool is just the energy saw and not some type of new item that you might not have seen yet. So if you're wondering how you can get key ingredients like conductive vessels or the fibrous sinew, that will be by using the energy saw on manta rays and cave bugs respectively. Oh, and speaking of cave bugs, those only spawn to attack you while you are mining. So don't follow my example and waste your time trying to look for them in the wild. Unlike a bunch of other survival games, you don't need to eat, drink, or sleep in Lost Skies. Instead, the various food items you can find or cook are used exclusively for buffs. You can have 3 different buffs rolling at the same time, and while they might not seem all that impressive at first glance, I found them to be quite instrumental in handling some of the harder islands. The best thing is, you don't even need to do anything complicated to reap the benefits. Even a very basic combination of cooked berries and animal meat, both of which can be found essentially everywhere, can double your health and give you a Wolverine-like regeneration for a period of 10 to 15 minutes. So if you're ever going into a combat-heavy area, do yourself a favor and eat up. It doesn't matter if we're talking about sails, wings, or just engines. The exact way you arrange your ship's layout is actually important. For example, a triangle sail placed vertically will catch side winds and give you a little bit of a boost when going forward, while placing it horizontally like sort of a bird wing will make you ascend or descend faster. In a similar vein, the orientation of your items actually matters. If you place your main square sail facing the opposite direction, it'll be nowhere near as effective as if you did it properly. The same thing goes with engines. If you install them facing the wrong way, you might even find yourself driving backwards. As such, before you commit to any major upgrade or refit and set off on a grand voyage, make sure to do a bit of a test run to see if your new parts actually work. And if they don't worry, as fixing things is thankfully fairly easy, since you can just rotate and move things around for free while in the shipyard. Once you get your research table up and running, you're going to be able to learn new recipes as well as upgrade them using orient tech tablets that can be found out in the wild. Now if you're like me, you'll probably be very hesitant to upgrade your early game stuff since you'll likely replace it soon and it will be a waste of resources and yada yada. Luckily, that's not how it works in Lost Skies. The orient tech tablets are plentiful, so much so that they're going to start clogging up your chests real fast. So as soon as you get an item that feels sufficiently more powerful than the stuff you have right now, make sure to upgrade it as far as it'll go and then craft it. These types of items will last you a very long time and provide you with a very nice power boost, so they are definitely worth the investment. Be warned, however, that the order of those operations does actually matter. Crafting an item and then upgrading its schematic will not automatically upgrade your gear. You'll still have to make another copy. As such, always make sure to upgrade first and then craft second. The reason Lost Skies has so many variants of the basic crafting materials is because the quality and type of ingredients has a very notable impact on the end product. For example, if you use aluminum to make frames for your sails, they will be lighter than if you used lead, though obviously they will be less durable. Because of this, mixing and matching the right kind of ingredients can get you some very potent toys to play around with. Now, while this system might sound complicated, in reality you don't have an infinite amount of resources, so you'll never be able to perfect items in every single slot. As such, I would recommend taking the time and effort to spruce up the big important pieces like your engine, and then just outfitting the rest with whatever you have remaining. Don't waste too much time trying to make everything amazing. I've been down this road myself, and it is not worth the hassle. Do be warned, this system only applies to ship parts. So if you're crafting any weapons or gear for your character, feel free to use the worst possible ingredients as they do not make even a tiny bit of difference. Lost Skies world is quite big, and since all of the islands are floating in the sky over a bottomless abyss, there is a very real lack of landmarks to orient yourself with. From what I can tell, the intended way is for you to keep an eye on the compass and use that in order to figure out where you are. Now maybe I'm just stupid, but I found that approach to be quite flawed, as not only do you have to constantly remember where everything is, but a lot of the islands are on different elevations, which means that even if you know the correct way, you might just fly past your target. You could also use the in-game ping system in order to help you navigate the world, but that one also has problems. You cannot tag something that's very far away, and since the game is still, well, sadly quite unstable, the pings do not persist through crashes or reloads, so they can and will disappear on you. Again, it's not ideal. Thankfully, after a little bit of experimentation, I did discover the perfect solution. If you die with some items in your upper inventory, they will drop on the floor as a glowing bag so you can easily pick them back up once you return. In order to help you reach your goodie bag, the game will mark its exact location on your compass, including how far you are and whether it is below you or above you. So if you intentionally leave one of these death bags somewhere, you can create a permanent marker that you can then use to orient yourself. Personally, I left mine at the very start, as I viewed that location as a sort of center of the world. And let me tell you, I did not regret it even a tiny bit. It really came in handy. While I do hope things are much better by the time you're watching this, right now, Lost Skies might as well be called Broken Skies. As I've mentioned throughout my review, there are bugs and glitches everywhere, some of which can straight up softlock your character and make you lose large amounts of progress. There is thankfully a very easy fix for this. If something insane happens, like your character maybe turning into a Lovecraftian abomination and falling through the world, simply Alt F4 and quit the game without saving. You'll lose some progress as you'll go back to your previous save or autosave, whichever is newer, but it is definitely better than losing everything. Additionally, if you end up getting stuck in such a way that you aren't even able to log back into your world, there is a potential workaround. Create a brand new world, load into that with your character, and then return to your main world. This has fixed the problem for me every single time, and hopefully it will do the same for you. And there you have it. 8 simple tips that will hopefully make your first few hours with Lost Skies all nice and pleasant. That said, Lost Skies is still in early access, so things are likely going to change as time goes on. In fact, they're guaranteed to change. So if an update or bug fix ends up making some of my advice outdated, I would be extremely grateful if you let everyone know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and if you enjoyed this, or even if you didn't, please do let me know. If you would like to see more, make sure to subscribe, hit the stupid bell, pet your favorite ship, and do whatever other arcane nonsense you gotta do these days. Thank you again for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Bye bye!